Hello, my name is Joanne Hewins, and I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I want to show to you some cards made using the Submarine Life. This is in the January-April mini catalog, and you can find it back on page 52. So there we are, and it is also a bundle. It comes with a punch. It's called the Submarine Life Builder Punch. So these two come as a bundle, or you can of course purchase one or the other separately. And well, let's get started with what we have today. I'm going to move these out of the way. A long time ago, and if you're a stamper for Stampin' Up, you know that these pigs were around a while back. But a long time ago, my sister sent me this card, Martha, and I've left it and kept thinking, I'm going to copy this card. I'm going to make this card. It can also stand up. So that's what we're going to do today using the submarine. Now, I've got two cards that I've already made. One of them is using some of the greenery from using dies that we have. And let me see if I can find, yeah, I got these plants right here by using this die from the Notes of Nature dies. It's also in our mini catalog. And then I also got some of the greenery. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, from the wild ferns, and I used this one and just cut off part of it here. No, actually, I believe it was this one that I used. It's a little bit thinner. So those are the ones that I used for the greenery on here and on the inside of the card. I did use a blending brush to add a little bit of extra green. It's hard to tell that it's on there. But we're not going to make this exact card. We're going to make one that's kind of close to it from this one. So I'm going to eventually mail these out. I'm not exactly sure when, but this one will go to my granddaughter, Sagan. Her dad is a big fan of the Beatles, and so they know all about the Yellow Submarine. And then this card is going to go to Hazel, her sister, because Hazel loves purple. So she's going to have a purple submarine. So I'm going to go ahead and combine a little bit of this and do another yellow submarine with this card. This one doesn't have all the cutouts. It's mostly stamped. So this one has some labels that are on there, and those are cut out using these Stylish Shapes dies, which I brought over here with me, but oh, here they are, but I couldn't find them. There are two more of the label that I'm using on a class today. So I'll move those back over for that. So it used the squares. We just stamped and cut those out and adhered them. The one that I'm going to show you doesn't have that. It just has some stamped areas, and it will stand up. And I thought that was probably enough. Just trying to simplify a little bit. So let's go ahead and work with the base of our card. I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and we're going to be using Pool Party again as our base. Oh, let me, while I'm thinking about it, say that on this card that I'm going to send to Sagan, the paper that's on that is from a celebration item, the Sunny Days Designer Series paper. Okay. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 on my trimmer, and then we're going to have some scoring to do. And I will have this at the on the comments of this video, and we're going to score at 4, and then 5.5. Oops, sorry about that. And then I'm going to have to open the arm, and we'll also score at 7. So let me go to 7. Okay, so those are the score lines for this. I'll put this out of the way for now and get out my bone folder. And for this, we're going to fold this in half in the center. So I kind of matched my corners and folded it on the score line. And then this one is going to fold back this way. And then we'll just turn that over, and this one will fold back this way. Still trying to make sure that everything is straight. Okay, so now we have our little zigzag there that you can see. Now this card is going to end up being really more of a square. It won't quite fit into our envelopes the way you're used to, but it's okay, it will fit. This one is 4 by 4 1/4. So it will be, let me just pull out an envelope. I've got some down here. Okay, here's a pack that's open. Now this one is vanilla, but it doesn't matter. I, of course, would send it with a white. It'll fit in the envelope like that, or you can even lay it sidewise like this. So it'll be a little bit left over, but that's okay. Whoever you send that to is going to love having a card and a handmade card sent by you. All right, so for the panels on here, we're going to need to have 3 of the bigger panels. One here, and then one here, and one here. And I'm going to be using Daffodil Delight for that, because we're going to have the yellow submarine, and it's going to go here. Now, one little hint of advice is to make sure before you start coloring on the panel that's going to go in there, because, look, it matters. It's not going to work if you do it the wrong way. So you can do that by just measuring and laying it on there and making sure that you're doing it the right way, or it's going to be the one that is 3.5 this way, 3.5 across, 3.5 across. Okay, so I'm going to add these a little bit later, and I will put those dimensions, but we're going to go ahead and start working with decorating our card. And I'm going to be using Pool Party. That's the same color as our base. And we're going to use a blending brush and add color to that. So I'm going to just get some color, tap a little bit, and then I'm just going to add my Pool Party. Now we tap a little bit to help us not have streaks, and to be able to kind of add little by little. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of turn that around, and we'll do the same. Now I did get a little dot there, but it's not going to matter. I don't know how that worked out. I did just re-ink my pad, so that might have a little something to do with that. Okay, so I think that's good enough. It doesn't have to be super uniform, because this is underwater, and I don't think underwater is all that uniform. So I'm going to set my Pool Party aside, and I have already done the others because they're all the same. Oh, I did forget to do my little inside parts, so I'm going to move these aside. I'm going to go ahead and do these as well, because we might want to do some of our stamping all at once. And again, I'll just put the measurements on the description of the video. Okay, and I'm going to try to do all my stamping on the panels at once. That may or may not work. Not so sure how my brain's working today. So let me start off with the ground underneath here. So I'm going to bring out my crumb cake. And then the stamp that we'll be using is this one. And so I'm going to, let's see what we did on that. We did one on all of the panels. Now, I didn't do one on these two, so we'll probably go back and put some ground on all of these. So I'm going to ink up. I'm going to try to put this so that I can see the edge underneath my stamp, because I want to go all the way down to the bottom. So that one's good. We'll ink up and go ahead and do this one. Okay, we'll do this one. All right, and then I'm going to just line these two side by side and do them at the same time. So we'll ink it up and just put it about like that. And kind of put it in the middle of the stamp. So now they have ground. I can get rid of my crumb cake. Let's see what we want to do next. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and work on the plants. And I used this for that. And I used, let's see, I used Old Olive. And I used Shaded Spruce. So I'm going to go ahead and add those. Now I think I'm going to just leave these together, and we'll go ahead and add some of the Shaded Spruce there. Let me just kind of put that over there. Okay. And I just put that kind of in the middle so that I had a little bit of each. Now, I put that as close to the ground as I could, but this has a straight edge. The ground does not, so you have to work with it a little bit, and I think it's going to work okay just to do the best you can do. Okay, so let me work with the Shaded Spruce. This is the front. And I'll put one right in there. I'm going to put another one over in here, kind of going off the edge. And then I'll put one in here. Now that kind of went down into the grass, but I think it'll be okay. Who knows how things grow out of stuff. And then we'll work on this inside piece. So I'm just going to put one kind of in there and one kind of over on the over on this side. I don't want them to look exactly the same. And then for this one inside where we're going to do the saying, I'm just going to put one over here. Okay, and we are ready to go to the Old Olive. And I just realized that I didn't bring over my chamois. So I'm just going to do that. I think that'll be okay. And we'll bring in the old olive. And on this one in the middle, I'm just going to put one kind of over in here. And the one on the front, I'll just kind of put one in between those two. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to put the third one in there. And let's see, we'll use this over here. Okay, that'll take care of that. So we should have all of our plants done for us now. So what I need to do next is on the front is do my submarine. So I think I'm going to take this stamp. I left that off of this one, so I want to put it in so we see the water flowing behind the submarine. So I'm going to take just a pool party. It won't show up very much. And I'm going to put that over in there. Okay. I think that'll work. And I want to do some dots before I go on. Let's just do those dots now. One of the ways that I was trying to do that was with a Coastal Cabana Stampin' Up marker. And I'm taking the big end, and I'm just going to do that. And some of those dots will come out. I wasn't sure that that was showing up very well. Or maybe my marker is just about out. So I'm going to do a couple on each one. Okay, that's okay. So that just gets a little bit of dots. I think that's enough. I was going to tell you that another way that you might work on that is to, and I haven't really tried this in a while, so we'll see. I put a little bit of color of the pool party on this block, and I'm going to get one of our painters. I'm going to squeeze and get some water out of that. I think I am anyway. Okay, and that's pretty thin, and I'm just going to get some of that color and just knock that off this way. In fact, I probably need more color. Gosh, let's see, I'm going to add it. Let me just do it this way and maybe not make it quite so thin. So that's a different way that you can add a little bit of color to that with our painters, one of our painters. Okay, and to get the paint out of that, you're just going to do it on your paper until it comes, I won't keep going, but until it comes clear, and then you're ready. All right, so we are going to make our submarine. So I'm going to move those up out of the way. And where I did that knocking, it's going to have to dry just a little bit on some of that. So I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to tell you that it is inked pretty well. I really thought when I started that I would have to use my Stamparatus to make that show up. And that's not a Stampin' Up item anymore. It's still a good item, but it's not a Stampin' Up item anymore. But I've got this inked pretty well, and I think it's going to do just fine. Okay, let's see what happens. So I think that's pretty good. That's one I made earlier, just in case. So I think that's going to be fine. And we're going to bring in our punch. And one thing that I should have told you is to look at the punch first and see which way it goes. It's got this up part at the top. We always stamp from the back. So I would have to come at this one from this direction. I can't get all the way in there, but that's easily remedied. I can just cut off some of that and come back in and get that. So I can come back in. You want to look all the way around and make sure you've got some of the white showing. Okay. And there we go with our submarine. So that's going to go right in here when I'm ready to put that on. Now I also want to do the propeller and the little, what do you call that, where you see out. There's a word for that. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the propeller. I'm going to look and see that that is going to go about like that. So I'm going to do that in my crumb cake. And I'm just going to go ahead and punch that one out. Okay, so there's that. And then I need that little scope, or whatever that would be called. And that's going to be on the back of where I put that pool party a little bit ago. So I'm carefully going to stamp that, and then I'm going to sit on my counter up and down, and I'll get that in a few minutes. Okay. So once again, I should have looked to see which way this was going to go, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so we'll get all the rest of that out of the way, and we'll have our scope and everything ready to go. But let's see if there's something else we might want to add before we actually put that on. I think so. I think we need to put some fish. So I'm going to bring in my fish. I'm going to stamp them in Melon Mambo. Now you can't see that I put some up there because I covered it up with the saying. So I'm going to put, let me move this, I'm going to put some down in here. I'm going to put some, I think, maybe coming in from there. And then I'm going to put some that will be behind the saying more than likely, but I'm going to move them over this way a little bit. So let me go and do my fish on some of these others. And on this one, I'm going to make them right in there. And then in the two together there, I'm just going to put them together again. And I'm going to have to remember to put those in the right order, because here I did not do that. I think I'll put another couple over here. All right, and then on the saying on the inside, I'm just going to put a couple down here near these leaves. Okay, I think that might be all of those fish. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull in Coastal Cabana. And we're going to do, excuse me, some of these little air bubbles or dots. So on the main one, I'm just going to put these here and there. Put some near these fish and these. Some can go in here. And I'll probably put something over this way. And then the submarine's going to be in there. And then this is going to be the inside middle. And I'm just going to put, I'll put some around here. Some near these fish. And then we're going to add a few more fish. I'll get to them a little bit later. Okay, so that will be that panel. This is the inside panel near the words. Okay, I think, oh, wait a minute, we might need some here. So let's add that. And I've kind of turned that to the side there to get some of that. And I think I just got my knuckle in the ink. Okay, so I think that's going to be all of those. We can always go back in if we need to. So I'm going to go ahead back to the front and add our submarine. And I'm going to do that with dimensionals. So let me put some around on there. Okay, we'll put that. Okay, I'm going to have to turn it around. And I want to make sure I keep it on that panel, although it probably could go out just a little. We'll put it there. It's got the waves in there. This thing, though, I think it'll be all right. We're going to put just a little piece of a dimensional. I really would do better if I had the mini dimensionals. Okay. You just cut that off even. And we're going to put that right in there. And then we'll put some little half pieces on there. And another one, I might have cut those too fat. But let's see. There, I think those will work fine. We'll just take that off. And it really doesn't matter that you're covering up some of the other stuff, the circles and that kind of thing. And I may not have left enough room for my saying. We'll see what we'll do about that. Okay, so I think we are ready now to do a few of these other animals that are around. So we don't need anything on the front. This one is the one that goes here. And let's pull out our blueberry bushel. And we're going to put, well, I'm getting ink all over me, we're going to put this little crab over here. And we're going to put this little fish over here. All right. And then we've got Gorgeous Grape that we're going to get and put a starfish. We're going to put the starfish right over here. Okay. We're just about ready to assemble everything. I need to put some words, so I'm going to put the inside words floating by just to say hi. That's this one. And we're going to put it right here. All right, and then for the saying on the outside is actually a long one that says, sending oceans of love. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap. Okay, sorry about that. Here's one. Nope, sorry, that's not one. Okay, let's hope this works the first time. So we're going to do Sending Oceans of Love. Okay, and we're just going to be cutting that into pieces. So let me move all of this over. We're going to look at this and decide what we're going to do on this. So I'm going to just cut these ends. And I really think that I'm going to try to cut those a little bit thinner. So I'm going to bring in this cutter. It's no longer available, I'm sorry, but it's just a good one to use these little bitty pieces. Let me lay that there. Watch your fingers. Okay. So I'm going to cut apart the Sending and Oceans. And I'm going to use, sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'm going to use my glue dots to put that on. So we'll put Sending and then Oceans. And we'll have to figure out where we're going to put those other things. Oceans. So you can see, even though I was trying to copy what I did before, things just don't always end up that way. I think I'm going to do it this way. Sending Oceans. And we'll have to put, I think I'll leave the of love together instead of cutting it apart. Where to put that? I guess we'll put it right down here. Sending oceans of love. I think I like that. So let's put all of our parts together. Let me bring in, sorry I hit the camera, the card. Okay, so this, and I'm just going to glue all this. We'll go right there. And then this is the front. Do you like that with that yellow background? Because this other one has the purple background and the other just has white. Wonder if white would look better. What do you think? Too late now, but what do you think? Okay. And you know what? I just messed up. So, we're going to fold this. Here's what you do when you mess that up. You're just going to fold it in the other directions. Okay, and that will go out this way. So pay attention to that. Okay, so here is our inside. Maybe that was a happy accident to show you, just in case that happens, you haven't lost everything. So this goes here. And that second piece is this one. Although I did have to say I panicked there for a minute. Okay, then we have these smaller pieces. And again, I'm going to have these measurements underneath the video. So this goes here. The glue gives me just a little bit of extra movement on that. Oops. Now, if you ever do kind of like this and you're thinking, I'm afraid some of that glue is going to squish out, just kind of get you another piece of scrap, spread it out a little bit, but then be careful where you lay this piece or you're going to have a disaster. Good to have maybe your trash can right by. Okay, so we're ready to glue our little pieces in, and that's the way we stamped those. Although it doesn't make a terribly big difference, I don't think, on that one, that I didn't continue with everything. Okay, and then we'll put our inside. Oops, I forgot to put the yellow. But again, another thing that's not going to make a big difference. We'll just sit it this way, and then we'll glue the yellow down. A lot of times it really doesn't make a big difference, the order of things that you do. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it really doesn't. So it didn't matter that I did that one to the yellow and then put it all down, because it's all done now. So we are done with this card. Here's the cover. I'm going to use my bone folder again on those pieces, and hopefully that will help that to lay a little flatter. So these pieces are going to come up like that, and then you can sit it like this. I don't know that you can see that great, but here we are with our 3 different cards. The yellow submarine twice, and the one with the cutouts in a yellow That's the two yellow submarines, and then a purple, a gorgeous great submarine for those who like purple. So there you are. I hope you enjoyed making this cute fold. I want to thank my sister Martha for sending me that card for my birthday. I bet it was a year and a half ago now. And I've just kept it around knowing that I'm going to use it at some time, and finally did it. Please go to lovetocreate.typepad.com to my blog post. This will be on. And thank you so much. Bye-bye.